Hey, what's up guys? So as students, I am sure that all of us at some stage have been guilty of getting into a certain situation where we have some upcoming exams, yet we don't exactly have a lot of time to study for that. So that leads us to the idea of cramming for an exam, and I'm sure IGCSE biology is no different. There's a lot of content, and at some point you may be forced to try and cram all this information into your head in a very short amount of time. So how do we do that? So this video will cover a couple of tips that you can implement to your study routine and try and cram for your next set of exams. So cramming is all about efficient studying. So basically you need to have some sort of strategy, right? You can't go in just blindly looking at your textbook and trying to memorize every single detail. Like something like that would not work. So another thing is, though, I found this quote online: without strategy, execution is aimless, but without execution, strategy is useless. Right? So it's good that we're going to be reviewing a couple of tips and strategies to cram, but you need to have the motivation and the sort of will to execute that. So please keep that in mind. So I think the first step to cramming is having some sort of daily schedule, right? So you need to have some sort of study schedule from now to your exam date, and think about your goals, right? What is it that you really want? It needs to be realistic and sensible. If you have 2 weeks to study for a 1 year's worth of exam, then you're not really going to be aiming for an A+, right? You need to be really thinking about passing the exam before anything else. So the schedule ultimately has to be realistic and achievable. It needs to be specific. You can't have some sort of generic schedule that says, okay, well, this month I'm going to study that, and next month I'm going to study this, or this week I'm going to study that. It has to be very specific. Monday to Sunday, from 3 p.m., which is after school, to 11 p.m., whatever. It has to be micromanaged, essentially, because it's so much easier to keep on track with things if you micromanage things, as opposed to having this really broad, generic sort of approach, because that allows so much more room for procrastination, and you're just going to be putting things aside, and eventually you will not stick to the schedule, and that's really bad. That's not what you want. Ultimately as well, you might want to set your overall schedule slightly ahead of time. For example, if your exam is on the 31st of August, then your schedule might want to end at perhaps the 25th, right? So you want to get everything done earlier than your actual exam date. The reason for that being is there's no guarantee that you'll actually stick to your schedule. So if you're a bit delayed, then that sort of screw things up a bit. So at least if you put things earlier, it forces you to work harder, and it gives you a bit of buffer zone at the end that you can catch up on if you are delayed, and that's really good. And again, the main thing is to keep to your schedule, otherwise it's all pointless. So this is just a quick example of my Monday schedule, where for this particular Monday, I'm gonna go, from 4 to 5. So basically 4 p.m. through to the end of, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm gonna be studying topic 2, right? And at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll be doing some past papers. And this is a pretty simplistic approach, but at the very least, it's quite specific in terms of the timing and what I want to do, and it's micromanaged, which is good. So you need to take a look at your syllabus, because the syllabus is extremely important for particularly Cambridge exams. It basically tells you what you need to know and what you don't need to know, right? So go through the syllabus, and it's important because it allows you to understand what you do and what you don't know. Now, this should reflect on your schedule making, because you should really be allocating less time on your schedule for the things you already know, but more time on the things you don't know. And that makes sense. You don't want to be wasting a lot of time on reinforcing things that you already know. That doesn't quite make sense. So just bear them in mind when you're making your schedule, so that you make it appropriately, so you're basically maximizing the effectiveness of your schedule and of your learning throughout the time that you're studying. So of course here we can see, topic 2, a fairly easy topic, we'll just allocate 2 hours for that, whereas topic 3 is a lot harder, so I might even allocate, a full day from 4 to 8 p.m. and, finish it off with some past papers before I sleep. Something along the lines of that. Now, after you've formulated your schedule, it's all about tactical revision. So let's just take a look at my Monday where I have, topic 2 spanning from 4 to 6 p.m. And so we need to really be understanding the main concepts. It's not about understanding, or it's not about memorizing every single little detail. It's about the concepts, right? And revision guides, some sort of condensed notes, maybe your own notes, and even online videos can all help you with that. Please just understand the concepts and before you delve into trying to memorize the small details, because that doesn't work. I think about it like playing a game, right? So initially, when you go into a new game, you start off by learning the controls. You don't learn, or you don't delve into a game trying to become, a professional at it. Everyone has to start from somewhere. You need to build it from the bottom, and in terms of your course, you need to know the skeleton of the topics first before doing anything else. And so again, the concepts and the understanding is the main thing here. Sometimes though, you have to memorize things, and of course if you're already familiar with some sort of concept, then you can indeed attempt to memorize some detail. And also, for example, diagrams and things like that, labeling, that is just pure memorization and you have to do that. Things that can help you do that would be sort of visual learning, acronyms, flashcards, or just flat out repetition, just writing it many times, whatever works for you. Personally, I think flashcards worked quite well for me, where in the front you write a quick question, in the back you write a quick answer, and I felt that was something that I used quite often when I was studying. But ultimately, whatever works for you is is what's effective, and so use what is most effective for you, basically. But again, revising tactically is, I think at this point, just knowing the concepts, because what will happen now is as soon as you are aware of the main ideas behind this specific topic, let's just call it topic 2, and let's just imagine we're learning about enzymes, right? Enzymes is topic 2, and what we'll do now is take a look at past papers. And if you are studying IGCSE sciences and you're not using past papers as a part of your revision, you're definitely doing something really wrong. Past papers are crucial for your understanding, and so what I advise is for you to print off the past papers physically, because I just find that really, I don't think you learn the same if you're looking on a screen and you're typing away the answers, or even writing the answers down on refill. It's just a lot more cleaner to have physical past papers in front of you that you can write on, and you can file and organize those in a document or something like that. Now, after you've basically studied or revised a certain topic, let's call it topic 2, and again we're just going to call it the topic of enzymes, then you need to solve relevant past paper questions for that particular topic, in our case enzymes. So you need to have some sort of allocation of time for past papers to be done, and past papers is probably the most crucial aspect of cramming for these IGCSE exams. And it's the most effective, right? So you just need to solve as much as you can, and starting from the most recent papers. And again, it's the fact that you're cramming means you're limited in time, so you need to do this as fast as possible. If you are reading an answer and you're answering some sort of Cambridge question, write quick bullet point or keyword answers, and if you think you know it. If you don't, then just leave it blank. Who cares? As soon as you answer it, refer to the marking scheme immediately, and this is after every single question, right? Figure out the keywords that they were looking for, and that's gonna be highlighted in the marking scheme, and self-mark yourself really quickly. Tick the parts of your answers that were correct. Otherwise, just fill in your answer sheet with the correct answers if you had a couple of points missing, or you just got the answer wrong. A really important thing is when you look at the marking scheme, they'll tell you what they were looking for in terms of the, the keywords and the key phrases, right? You need to have at least some sort of understanding of where it comes from. So you should read it and you should have a sense of, right, okay, I get it. Or, if you got the answer correct, you just give yourself a pat on the back and say, sweet, okay, I got this. If the only problem is, if you look at the marking scheme and it's absolutely making zero sense to you, then it just shows you that you haven't grasped the concepts well enough to even understand where the marking scheme is coming from, right? So that might mean that you have to go back to step 3 and reinforce those concepts before applying that into the past papers. Okay? Now, the important thing is, with the quantity and with continuous past papers, eventually you'll see that Cambridge asks the same type of questions all the time, but they just do it in many different ways. It means that despite the questions changing, they're mainly looking for the same type of answers. The same type of key phrases and the key words will always pop up. By solving as much past papers as you can, you're basically training yourself to decipher these patterns and ultimately figure out ways to use the right terms and phrases to answer their questions and get them correct. Along with the fact that as you are solving past papers, you're also reinforcing your own understanding of the topics and making you more comfortable with solving them to begin with. So that's all very, very effective in terms of, the instead of in terms of studying, right? So just to summarize, you basically set a schedule and you stick to it. The syllabus should reflect on your strengths and weaknesses, and your schedule should actually reflect back on this, because you'll be allocating more time for your weaknesses and less time for your strengths, and that should be all incorporated into your schedule. Now, as you're revising, you need to do this tactically. The main concepts are what you're looking for. You don't need to memorize every single detail, because sometimes it's just impossible, and given that you are watching this video to begin with, it might mean that you're short on time, and when you're short on time, you don't have time for detail. But that's okay, because as soon as you got the concept sussed, that means you can start on past papers, which reinforces the understanding of your main topics, also allows you to decipher what Cambridge wants and and the answers of that specific topic. So for example, in the topic of enzymes, I guarantee you that a lot of the questions that Cambridge asks about enzymes, particularly the long ones, they will include some sort of keywords regarding the active site of an enzyme or the complementary pairing and all that sort of stuff. And you will know all that if you understand the concepts of how an enzyme works without actually needing to know any sort of detail, right? So it all comes naturally. So there you have it, guys. Those are just my basic tips and how to cram for IGCSE biology, and I hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next video.